Hey there, girls. Hope you all made it home safe and sound from Clickaway. I am just getting back and starting to look at some of my images that we took together, and I'm going to show you a quick edit of how to add a sky when you need a sky. So this image I took of my daughter the night before we met, and the sky was just totally blown out. To get an even exposure of my subject, I had to just totally blow out the sky. So I took this picture knowing that I would have to add another sky in later. So luckily that next night our sky was so pretty, and I have this is one of the skies that I took. So I'll show you how to add this sky in, and then also how to add a sun flare in. So you just go to your image that's the sky, Command A, Command C to copy, come back to your image that needs a sky, and then Command J so you're on layer 1, Command V to paste your new sky, and then Command T. I like to use shortcuts to transform. So I'm going to turn this down and hold Shift down, and then just move your sky where you want it. And because it's a sky, there's really no rules. You can morph it. It doesn't have to stay full frame. I'm just kind of looking at these clouds and deciding where I want them. That looks good. So I'm going to turn my opacity back to 100% and say OK. And now we need to make a mask. So click a mask right here, and then you need to use your gradient tool, which is right here. You can just press G, and we need it to go black to white. So what you're going to do is drag from the top of the sky down to the bottom. And you can keep trying. So there's a little bit, and what it does is it just gradually fades. I want a little more, so that looks good to me. So you can see before and after, and then I'm going to go B for brush, make sure it's on black, and I'm just going to make my brush a tad smaller. I'm at 100% opacity, 100% flow with a soft brush, and I'm just going to paint it off, make sure that sky didn't get here. So now I want to bring that sky out a little bit more, so I'm going to Shift Command Option E to get a new layer, and then I just have a shortcut darkening layer that just makes it dark. I'm going to paint that on my sky. I don't want my sky, this is where the light's coming from, and I'm going to make a sun flare here, so I don't want the sky over here to be too dark. So I'm going to do another gradient here. So press G, and I want black to white, and I'm just going to drag it, and then it just painted it on there, which I want this part light. So that's my sky. I'm going to Shift Command Option E again and show you how to add a sun flare. So I took this image like the day we got there. The sun was real high. It was like 2 in the afternoon, I think, and my settings were aperture I think was f13, and that's really what got this. I'm assuming my ISO was 400 and my shutter speed probably 400 since they're dancing and they're in focus. So when you get a sun flare, you can use this in other images. So I'm going to grab it, Command A to grab it, Command C to copy it, and come back over here, and I'm on a new layer. So I'm going to Command V to paste that on. And now I'm just going to turn it down a little so I can see what I'm working against. Command T to transform. And I'm just going to, I kind of want it to be falling down on this rock. So I'm just only watching this sun flare right here. And that looks maybe good. Sometimes you can make it smaller and just play around with it. Okay, I'm going to say yes here. And now we're going to do another gradient. So we just have the sun flare. So we need a mask. G for gradient. I want it to be black to white. So now we're just going to start here and drag it. And there's a little sun flare. And then, you can keep dragging it until you feel like it's right. There's just a little one. And then we'll paint it on and off where we want it or don't want it. Okay, obviously don't want it on that rock. So I'm just kind of going until I like it. And then you can transform. You can push Command T and move it again, in here. My dogs are barking out there. Okay, so That looks good. One thing I'll tell you about sunflowers is I only ever do them where the sun is actually coming from and if there is intense light. So this was super intense light. It's light. It's a, you know, an evening where there would already be a sunflower. So I'm careful not to add sunflowers ever if I feel like it wouldn't naturally be there. So here's before and after, and it just adds a little pop of light. And if you want to bring it out even more, get a new layer, go B for brush, and choose a white brush. I'm sorry about my dog barking, you guys. I'm going to turn the opacity way down. We'll try 8. And turn this low, and you can just sort of paint it on. And like that. So Command Z when it doesn't work. I don't like that one. Okay. That feels good. So you can just see before and after. And now I'll show you how to add a quick warming filter through the whole thing. So go to solid color and pick a warm color. I like to usually pick a color that's in the oranges. Okay, say okay. This color looks good. And then I'm going to come to soft light. Turn it way down. So there's before and after. Let me turn that up just a little. And it'll just warm up your image. It's a really quick, easy way to warm up your image. One action that I've purchased is Twins Green. It's a Beth Wade action. If you took my breakout, I talked about it. And it's called Twins Green. It's Beth Wade. Just when there's green, see there's green right here in the sand and the beach, because when it's really intense light, there's usually green cast. So it just removes it. And I usually don't like to use it all. She just made a good action that's easier than doing it every time. So this, I may now bring out just a little more light on my daughter here. So I'm going to go to curves and come into the middle and just bring up my midtones, bring up my highlights a bit. And now I'm going to come back to my layers, and I'm going to do a radial gradient this time. So I'm going to press G for gradient. Here's my radial gradient, and I just want that action that I did that brightened everything to only happen to her. So I'm just going to grab, and right here it's showing you where it is. It's just small. So before and after, just added a little light to her. And you know, if you want to, maybe another magical thing that I sometimes do with a brush, with a white brush, at a low opacity, is just kind of soften a horizon line. So I'm just painting this white brush. I'm so sorry about my dog barking. Okay. And it just sort of makes it feel a little more dreamy, magical. So since we didn't get to do a lot with sunflowers, I just wanted to show you guys on an image we didn't take together how to add a sky, how to add a sunflower, and some of my actions that I create. Hopefully that's helpful.